What is up, guys? Evanaldo here. So I wanted to give you guys an update on kind of, what I'm looking at in the market right now, some potential possibilities, for the next few weeks, into that holiday season. We're getting really close to that 5 days until Christmas, and then, give or take a few over 10 days until the New Year. So exciting time generally in the halving years and, this area of the halving year and then post-halving year. So let's get right into it here on Bitcoin. So the first thing I'm kind of looking at here is essentially we what's good on this drop down is number one, it cleaned out the market, a lot of liquidations, which could make it healthy for us to keep going. I saw some negative funding rates in certain exchanges today for the first time in a long time, which is I think a really good thing for the case to be made to potentially recover and continue forward here. That doesn't mean it has to happen, but there's two scenarios here. So I mean, obviously people it could go sideways, but generally you've been in this general range for a long time here. I mean, you could even argue since November 13th you've been in this range, so it's a bit over a month. And especially in a time like this, where it's an exciting time, your halving year, you're into your halving year, into your post halving year, you're either going to break downward, 80k would be a target somewhere around these spider lines, or breaking upward would bring you right around 120k. Now, can it hit 120k by the end of the year or early January? I wouldn't count it out completely. I would not count it out completely. There's definitely a possibility here. And the reason why is number one, when we look at what happened here last time, this was December of 2020, you came down. See how it's still green on the Heikin-Ashi, so nothing too bad. And after that, you really freaking shot up right here. Now let's look back at the previous December. It would be December of 2016. It would be, where is that? That would be a little bit, okay. So nothing. I mean, I think if you zoom in here, was a little bit of a correction, but nothing until January 2nd, and then you really, really came down. Like I think it was a little over 30% wick down. Then you kind of continued forward. So if you look at that, and then the other thing to realize here is the same thing happened in January 4 years later in the 4 year cycle here. So the thing to realize here is maybe, just maybe, we can recover here. The other thing too is your money flow is still good in the monthly. 3 week money flow still generally upward. I would be a little bit cautious when you do see this next bear div kind of printing, because I mean, not the most data on this. Actually, I wanted to look at just quickly. Oh, do I still have it? Yeah, here we go. Bitcoin versus DXY, power of the dollar. And on this chart, it's a pretty big fib level that you could draw out. I'll just show you how to draw it out for you guys trying to learn fib levels. Really simple. Just go like that. And then this would be essentially somewhere if Bitcoin hits around 150, 160K. This could be a big, big area that I think we could kind of top out at. But essentially, trying to catch a top here, what we're looking at, you just came all this green on the monthly all the way up to that December 2017 high, all the green on the monthly all the way up to this April 21 high. Got a little bit of a curveball here, but the same thing happened in this cycle all the way back here. See the April high, you came down a bit and then you kept going. So in all likelihood, I would think you may be due for more of something like this, just straight green candles for a much diminished return version of this. I mean, unless you think we're going to 300K or whatever. I mean, I could see 200K is possible. I don't really think 300K is possible. 20x from the low. That's that's considering no diminished returns here. But diminished returns 10x from the low, approximately 150, 160K. I think that's absolutely possible here. So that's what I'm ultimately looking at to continue forward. If we just look at the weekly here, the red dot, and then you continued forward. And then if we go back, I think there might be a little bit more data on this chart here. If we go to December, yeah, it was just straight green candles, and then you came down in January. So the red dot, maybe it's a little bit worse for the 30% correction. I mean, that's what some people are saying, and I could definitely see that possibility, but I kind of think I don't really see. Like, I feel like people will buy this up at least back up to 100 or 105 into the holiday. I mean, I feel like people they tend to look at these things, and they tend to give it a shot around the holiday a lot of times. People give gifts, all that type of stuff. They put money into crypto generally, especially in the halving year. And 103, 104, that could be a technical target upward right there if you're trying to long this upward to these points. I am in a Bitcoin long right now. If you guys are interested in that setup with the stop loss, to take profit and all that good stuff, Obviously, it could get stopped out. There's always a possibility. Nobody's right all the time. But check out the Discord. The link, it's the first link down below. And if you want to trade, check out BYDFI, BloFin, Bybit down below. A lot of really good promos down below with my link. On BYDFI and BloFin, you get 10% off your fees for life if you sign up with my link down below. BloFin is doing a really good, if you click the link down below, doing a really good futures bonus for it. A really good deposit bonus, so check those out if you guys are interested in trading. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I do think in terms of money flow here, you absolutely could continue forward. Trigger wave forming on the 12-hour, money flow coming out, so it's definitely not the strongest thing, but even if we are to come back down to these areas, I do think you would see some type of recovery here. That's what I'm kind of thinking, to maybe scare away some of the people shorting and just people in general just buying it up. So yeah, let's move on to ETH a little bit here. So look at that wick down, not a big wick down. Generally, those are a little bit more bullish than bearish. This is an important point to keep, especially on ETH 3400. If we can keep this, I would generally remain bullish and be looking for a continuation upward. Daily trigger wave could be a huge thing. If you look at the last daily trigger wave, I mean, kind of this area right here, it came down a little bit lower, but you came up all the way there. So if we were to repeat, some type of situation like that, you would come up all the way up to 5,000, 4,800, that kind of area by the end of January. Can you jump up to 4,800 by the end of the year? 10 days, 11 days, probably not, but things do move quickly. If it's like the end of 2020, yes, you can. Into 21, yes, you absolutely can. But, maybe we just get up to 4,000, then we got to continue forward there. So I still remain pretty bullish here. I still remain pretty bullish. Got a red hike in Ash in the weekly. I don't know if that'll confirm. Maybe we continue to recover a little bit into the weekend and not confirm that. So that's what I'm kind of looking at there. So overall, looking pretty good. I mean, we're coming into the weekend. It could be a little bit harder to read, but this money flow looking pretty good for, potential long, maybe up to 4,000 again. I mean, it's pretty relatively low risk, high reward. I wanted to show you guys ETH versus Bitcoin. If we look at where we are in the 4-year cycle in the monthly December of 2020, you hit that low and then you kind of continued forward, especially January being the green Heiken-Ashi candle. So far, we are making a higher low here, which is good. It's a generally pretty good sign. As long as we hold this level, I would remain pretty bullish on this evaluation. If we were to come down a little bit, you do have the anchor wave in the 3-week, which is good as well. If we were to come down a little bit more, 0.29 here, that could be a possibility. But I'm not really seeing this come down that much more. You have the blood diamond on the 5-day, but last one was really good. Maybe we're due for a dud. This one kind of worked out. Maybe we're due for a dud. What's interesting here is this was December 2020. It's kind of like clockwork. So maybe you get a wick down and then you're just, could outperform it by a lot into the coming year. So that's going to be really big on Ethereum. Solana, that's a potential trade setup that I was kind of looking at. Pretty low risk, high reward. Jumping off of this place, maybe playing a little bit ping pong with these spiral lines, getting back up to that area. I ultimately think this is a huge area for Solana right here that we jumped off of, right at 188. So as long as we can kind of hold that 188, I would remain pretty bullish on Solana over here. And then if we could break above 268, you're looking at that 400, which I think is a pretty damn safe bet, sometime in 2025, unless you think the cycle is completely over and, Bitcoin's going back to 40K, 30K or whatever. But I mean, I follow the 4-year cycle. I look at what's going on as well. I look at the charts. I think we're still okay. I think we're still going to continue and follow that 4-year cycle. AVAX, that's another possibility, kind of similar trade. That Solana setup. You came down, you hit a really big area, I would argue 33, right there, because that was breaking upward. Holding this point would be really important, I think. And I think this is a really good buying the dip opportunity on AVAX right here. Ultimately, I really like the 3-week. I like the monthly. So I think there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on some of these, but I think DOT should break upward. A lot of these will eventually break upward. I know everybody's talking about SUI, the craze there. I think it's inevitably going to get up to 6 something eventually. These could be a little bit tricky. I mean, if you really want to get a wild kind of technical target here, you could go all the way up to $12, which would be a 3 to 4x. I mean, it does have potential. $13 billion market cap will go up to maybe my cap would be 100 billion, best case scenario. Yeah, I don't really see it going up much above that. The new ones could get interesting, I'll say. I mean, and then they start to lag behind, like Caspa has done a little bit. I generally think that will eventually break upward, but it definitely is lagging behind a lot of this market at the moment. That 5-day looks kind of atrocious. That weekly looks bad too. Ooh, this is just bad in all kind of ways right now. That doesn't mean it's going to lose this and go to oblivion. It could easily prove all these bearish things wrong and jump up, but I would be careful with it personally. You know, TIA, a few of these hitting major points, looking good. You know, Cardano, getting a lot of attention lately, especially with the Trump administration and whatnot. You know, I think you're going to jump back up to $1.18. And, you know, as I've talked about a few times in previous videos, you know, I think you got a really good shot at $2 and then a really good shot, pretty good shot at $5. My high end would maybe be 8, you know. So we'll see. We'll definitely have to see what happens here. I was looking at the ETH ETF. I know a lot of money has flowed into this, and somewhat of a significant area that we kind of, you know, jumped off of over here. And ETH ETF, I mean, it would kind of coincide with where my kind of longer term target would be, which is, you know, around 7,400. That's a big level. So I think you should be able to double, you know, from kind of where we are right now, especially with all the institutional money coming in and all that. And I mean, if you follow this trajectory, I would just be curious to, let's do a longer trajectory. I'm just curious where you would, when you would hit that May, you know, like last time, I don't know, maybe even earlier this time, you know, it could be a more elongated, who knows, but, you know, sometime in 25, I would think. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you guys right now. If you guys are interested in Discord, link in the description below. If you guys want one free month in the VIP channels in the Discord, all the Empire VIP Discord channels, if you sign up to any of the links down below, deposit at least $100, I'll give you one free month in those Discord channels. Just open a support ticket in the free Discord. First link down below with your UID, and we'll get you sorted. All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Always appreciate that. Goodbye.